Look at the llamas. So, I was just listening to Amber Heard's account of what happened, a little bit of it. I've kind of tuned out of obsessing about this case. It gets a little boring after a while. But I wonder if Johnny Depp can win the case, because the thing with being in an abusive entanglement, and I think, obviously the comment sections are full of mostly Johnny Depp support, and I personally feel the same assessment that, it's a kind of a classic narc entanglement, and her being the instigator is my read on it, but who are any of us to really say, except for just there's, when you listen to the tapes, and I'm sure the cross-examination is going to be interesting, but the thing about an abusive relationship, though, is it turns everybody involved into, I kind of said it earlier in an assessment of this, it's just like, why narc abuse is so bad is you're around the atmosphere of the abuser, and you take on the properties. So I don't know the case is about Johnny Depp saying he wasn't, or defamation, and I don't know how exact defamation for calling him an abuser, and I don't know how exact that has to be. Like, it changes things if they're both abusers, but does that mean it's defamation still? I mean, it certainly seems to in the court of public opinion, which I guess is where defamation resides. So I don't know. I think it's going to end up restoring his career, and I think not his reputation, because there's just too many unseemly details about the way he was living his life. But when you're in an abusive squalor, you're going to take on extra addictions. It's going to get gnarly. You're going to end up lashing out when you're triggered. But does that take away the responsibility for your behavior? I don't really think it does. That's the unfortunate part about being in a situation like that. It destroys lives. The abuser, it's the rotten apple in a barrel situation. It's like you become who you surround yourself with. So you become abusive. It might be in reaction. You might be wanting mutuality, but once you're triggered, and if you're with a emotional covert narcissist, avoiding being triggered means you're enlightened and literally floating 2 feet off the ground most of the day. And if you're enlightened and floating 2 feet off the ground most of the day, you're not with a covert narcissist. So, no, I don't have a black eye. That's a zit. It's an unfortunate blemish, but there you go. Teaching me humility. Anyway, yeah, so I think it'll be interesting to see the cross-examination, but I guess the main thing I wanted to say is, no one goes unscathed in abusive entanglements. There's no innocent parties, really, because if you're doing that dance, there's some kind of hole in you that made you take a chance on that kind of love. Some of us are drawn to it. Family of origin. If you come from a family of abuse, if you're an empath, you have an enormous amount of tolerance towards abuse. You don't even notice it until you wake up. Sometimes you don't wake up until you're in your 50s and on the stand in a public court situation. And even then, it's like being a drug addict. I mean, sobriety is a one day at a time thing. So is emotionally abusive relationships. So is everything. Everything is a new day to commit to the light or dark side. Get with the llamas. Peace out.